Hello.
Hello.
Hey there.
Hi. Well, let me start up. That again. Okay. And I'm just trying to see if we're still getting the co-host in. I don't think he's online right now, but that's okay. We can still go through this. All right. So.
Awesome.
I saw you were you were talking in chat about the last segment. What did you think?
I had a lot of fun watching you guys in stream, going on live, talking about your channel and everything.
Nice.
It was very fun. I first discovered.
Andrew's in the background saying, "Is anything good being said about him?"
Because I can't hear the call right now.
Okay.
We should probably talk some bad stuff about Andrew then, if you can't do it. Was he Bowser?
Yes, he was Bowser.
Yeah. He wasn't much of a Bowser.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, before starting this next segment, I'll do the charity plug again because, as I've been saying, this is a charity stream, our 24-hour charity stream, and this is the last hour. Might go another half hour if Push needs to come on for something. But this is the last main segment. Oh, hold on. And so if you want to donate to Child's Play, there is a link to that in the info section below the stream. And I believe our co-host is actually joining in now.
Great.
I just need to check. I think he needs this. I don't know if he does. Just in case. Okay.
And yes, Cartboy, it was great to have your commentary too.
Whew. Yes. Yes, Cartboy, you definitely kept some conversation going at times because you were actively in several of the last sessions, asking questions and engaging everybody.
Now, if I can ask, since we're waiting on the co-host, what is your relationship with Cartboy? Because I've heard him say friend, I've heard him say rival.
So Cartboy
what's going on there?
Cartboy is another Source Gaming member. He runs a lot. His most active place, in my opinion, is he's all over the Facebook page for it. He handles that very, very well. And otherwise, he's a fantastic member, and he's been to almost every one of the Mario Kart streams so far. We both play Rosalina, so that started a little bit of a rivalry. And that rivalry got really kickstarted when, I think he beat me by only 20 points in one of the tournaments. So it was really close.
I see.
And that's what's
so he might have got you there, but consistently, who is the better Rosalina?
I don't know.
I really like putting people on the spot, by the way.
Oh, that's perfectly fine.
Whoa, I got 3 new followers.
Did you?
Yeah.
On Wii,
Right.
yeah, I saw you guys got a few more. That's
I think he meant on his Twitter, but
I followed you, Andrew.
He followed you. He said.
Yep.
Sub.
All right, so co-host is just setting stuff up. That's fine. So
Okay.
I'm in the moment just checking. I'm actually gonna message Push and see if he's gonna be coming back on.
Cartboy says you're Goku and Vegeta, Atem and Kaiba, whatever that is. Ash and Gary. Okay, I know two out of 3 of those references.
Yeah, I know of 2 of them. I only actually know one of them, like from seeing it and everything.
Well, I'm going to use this internet device. Atem and Kaiba. I think it's the Yu-Gi-Oh thing. I see.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you, Cartboy.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense now. Alright, so while waiting for the co-host, I will go through the fancy little introduction I wrote for you.
Yes.
Because I've done that for everybody, but it's rather casual, because that's exactly how Push was doing it, and that taught me exactly how to do the rest of this. So,
Oh, yeah.
our next guest is one who has become very well known by fans of both the Zelda and Warriors series. Before the international version of the game released, GamesBrained released a review of Hyrule Warrior Legends titled More Than Just a Port. This review eventually hit over 100,000 views, and with that, Hyrule Warriors content became his most recognized coverage. So, now, please welcome GamesBrained.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for following my stuff if you do. And it's nice to be a part of Source Gaming's charity stream.
Yep, and I'm certain that your content has picked up a lot of followers, and especially since you started the All About series again. So since you've gotten back into it, I've noticed you're getting people hyped up again.
Yeah, it's interesting. I really didn't think there was that much of a community left for Hyrule Warriors because it's such an old game. I think, gosh, didn't the Wii U one come out in like 2014?
Yeah, I think
something like that.
I know it came out in Japan before everywhere else, but I'm pretty sure in Japan it released like August 2014, didn't it? So like it's like 3 years ago.
So literally 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and
that's crazy.
Yeah, I remember that. And so when I of course I was moving away from Hyrule Warriors, but then I just didn't have any time. I guess I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I made the All About Xant video because it had been long requested, and I was kind of past doing the All Abouts. So I thought, this game is so old, time to move on. But that video quickly built up a lot of steam, and I was surprised how many people went back to watch a guide about a 3-year-old game. So yeah. That the community very much still exists, and I think people are getting hyped up and thinking about it again because of Fire Emblem Warriors being not that far away now.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are just trying to compare, see what the last Nintendo Warrior series was like, and see what they can expect out of this one. All right,
yeah.
So our co-host isn't actually able to join, so
okay.
I'll just get started with the interview stuff.
Us two.
Yep. Alrighty. So I'm going to start going down these interview questions.
Mm-hmm.
So for anybody watching who isn't all that familiar with the channel, why don't you describe how Hyrule Warriors Legends review how that review happened for you, and what exactly that sparked for your channel?
Okay. Well, it's kind of an odd story, but I'll just go right into it. So I did play Hyrule Warriors on Wii U and thought it was good. I've always been a fan of the Warrior series. And it came about that I was going to be taking a long vacation to Italy. And it's not just like a normal vacation. It's like a tour group vacation. And so we'd be traveling to all these different cities in Italy. And so I'd have 5 hours of bus rides every day on top of the 10-hour whatever plane rides. Mm-hmm. So I needed something to kind of take to pour a lot of time into.
Yeah.
Because, you can see the scenery for a bit, but 5 hours of bus rides every day really, really wears on you. So
I can imagine.
Hyrule Warriors Legends had just launched, and I was living in Taiwan at the time, so it came out in Asia, I think 3 months before it came out in America, or in the West at least.
Yeah.
So I picked that up, and over the course of the plane ride and the bus rides, I played the hell out of it. And I was really struck by how good it was. It felt like a stronger version of the game in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
And so my review, which I titled More Than Just a Port, it ended up being the counter call to what everyone immediately labeled the game as.
Yeah.
They saw, okay, it's a lesser version of Hyrule Warriors, whatever, 4 out of 10, too much water, something like that. And so my review went up before that, and coincidentally, it was also the counter call to it, and it also looked at the game a lot deeper than most of the other reviews that I saw. At least the biggest company reviews, which I don't think spent too much time on it. And yeah, it very quickly became extremely successful in a way that I was not expecting at all. My first video that blew up, before I was just a tiny little channel. I think I was at 150 subscribers or something when I first had a video of mine take off, which was my Zelda Timeline Explained.
Right.
And that took off because simultaneously 3 big Zelda sites shared it, and then that just built up so much traction instantly. With this review, I have no idea how it got out to so many people. I think I was still under 2,000 subscribers when the review went out, and then most videos I would have maybe 900 views, and this one was 40K 1 week. What the hell's going on? And it's just continued to grow from there.
Interesting. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So next up, so would you say that all of this work and focus on the Warrior series has made you feel more interested in the games or less?
I think it's easy to say it's definitely made me more interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
I played my first Dynasty Warriors game was 3, and I used to rent 2 from the old video store when I was a kid, and
Okay.
I would follow. I kind of kept up with the series. I played 5, and then I played some 7,
Mm-hmm.
and then Hyrule Warriors came out, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. But it wasn't until my Legends review that I really became interested in the series.
Okay. Interesting.
And more than just this game's a lot of fun to play. I really enjoyed a lot of the deeper mechanics in the characters of Hyrule Warriors, and that's what makes me really excited about Fire Emblem Warriors that we're going to see, like lots of crazy stuff like we haven't seen before.
Okay. So, right now you've been working a lot on the All About series for Hyrule Warriors. So, what are
That's
your
right.
plans for after you finish that?
Sure. Well, I should probably explain what All About series is, and it's basically a simple a series of character-based guides where I take one character, I lay out what they can do, and then very quickly, probably the most important job that it does is explain some of the more complicated mechanics that the game doesn't really seem to explain that well.
Mm-hmm.
And my goal is to put it in a really easy to understand way. My day job, I'm a teacher, so I try to believe. I tend to think that I'm a little bit good at explaining things that are difficult in an easier way. Like a character like Girahim. I made that guide last year, and so I got tons of comments, people saying they never understood how to use him or all these different mechanics that were built into his character until my video. Now, I'm currently in the final run for the All About series for Hyrule Warriors.
Okay.
I already have... Basically, I'm doing a video every day until I finish out all the rest of the characters. And, of course, it's thanks to you that I'm able to do that. Basically, it seemed nice when I was able to do my Xanth video, but then I had my Elgato started... I think it was trying to mess with me. Like, it had some kind of grudge against me, so it would tend to work. And then, I'd record for an hour, and the Discover It All was destroyed, and didn't save properly. Whatever, just maniacal stuff like that. But after I finish the series, it actually will be very close to the time that Fire Emblem Warriors is launching here in Japan. So I'm thinking if I can get a capture card working again, and I can somehow afford a Switch, then I can start to produce content on that. I would really like to be able to make a review of Fire Emblem Warriors and to make all abouts on Fire Emblem Warriors, basically from day one, if it's possible for me. Other than that, I have a couple other series that I do on my channel that I want to do more of.
Okay.
So yeah, I have a lot of things kind of on the docket right now, but all of that has to be balanced around my day job, which sucks like 50 hours in my week out each week.
I mean,
so,
I
got to balance with that.
You're an English teacher, right?
That's right.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so, next up, and then at the end of this, by the way, we'll go through questions in chat, unless you want to answer any of them as you see them. All right, whichever one.
Oh, sure. Yeah, if anyone has any questions for me, throw them in chat, and I can get to them.
Okay. Actually, you were just asked, what do you teach? And I just answered that by asking you.
Yeah. Well, I can go into it. I teach English for some private schools in Japan, and before that, I taught English in Taiwan for 3 years too. So basically, as soon as I graduated, I went abroad and started living abroad and doing teaching as my main work, which is it's a fun career choice if anyone has any questions about it. Basically, this is my second year living in Japan, but I've spent 5 years in Asia total.
Interesting. Okay, so our next interview question. So, aside from Hyrule Warriors, how invested are you in the overall Warrior series and all of its spin-offs and variants?
Quite a bit, actually. One project that I wanted to do, but it never really got off the ground, was I wanted to take a look and kind of do mini reviews on all of the Warriors games, even like the older ones, because this is a series that once Dynasty Warriors 8 comes out, Dynasty Warriors 7 doesn't really matter. It's kind of more like updating it. But I am a person, I tend to play each game in a series, even if it's kind of like that.
Right.
And so I thought that there's interesting aspects of each one of it, not only with Dynasty Warriors and Hyrule Warriors, but also the other series like Pirate Warriors, which is based on One Piece. And I'm a big fan of One Piece myself. So after I kind of really got into Hyrule Warriors, I went back and I bought Pirate Warriors 1, 2, and 3, and I played through them. And I always wanted to do something with that on my channel. For a while, I was considering making guides on it. But again, it just never kind of came about. But it's definitely a possibility in the future. Like if they announce Pirate Warriors 4, I'm definitely going to do some content on it. But what I really like about the Warriors series is that it's a formula that can apply to a lot of different series. And also, I don't know if people know how unique they are between series. Like, sure, you see Hyrule Warriors, but Hyrule Warriors plays completely different from Dynasty Warriors, to the point that comparisons between them, it's kind of moot because Hyrule Warriors introduces so much. I think it's probably the best version of the formula that they've ever done, because the unique things that it does is so much fun. But have you, Tris, ever played Dragon Quest? I think they're called Dragon Quest Warriors in the West.
I do believe it is here. I have not actually played it myself. I've seen a lot of things from it, though.
So something that's fascinating is another Warriors game. It actually plays a little bit like a tower defense game, where you have some lanes and monsters coming in on those lanes, and you'll need to switch between a party of warriors, which you can have at different spots in the field, which is kind of what Legends added to Hyrule Warriors, and you kind of use them in that way. So you got to be a little bit more strategic, and then you take like Gundam Warriors, which adds in space combat, and then of course I believe the Warriors company also did the Attack on Titan game, which I've seen some videos for lately. They have like this Warrior of Aslan anime Warriors game. There's so much to it, and I've been researching it ever since my Legends review got so big, and so yeah, I really have been enjoying a lot out of it. I basically, my fiance played Pirate Warriors 3 so much that she injured her wrist for 6 months. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's in the game there's a character Whitebeard, and he has this move that just blows everything back. But you got to kind of extend the combo by pressing the button a bunch of times. Right. And some of the DLC matches that they have last for an hour.
Oh gosh!
And so it seems like an hour of her doing that. Yeah, she won't even play it with me anymore because she got injured. I think my wrist and my thumb are just stronger from growing up as a gamer, that I wasn't affected by that.
Interesting.
But she plays. she also plays games, but she plays less games than me, and so we always have to lead yeah, you can play this game. Is there any button mashing? Maybe, maybe not. I don't think she can play any games with Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew likes button mashing a lot.
What brought this up?
We were talking about button mashing in games.
Oh yeah.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
Cartboy asked in chat if Hyrule Warriors would be a good starting point for getting into the Warriors series.
Absolutely. It's probably the best starting point for getting into the Warriors series, especially if you're already a Nintendo fan.
Yeah, I would agree.
Just play it. And that game is so charming. All the little Zelda touches. And it just because, at this point, there's so many characters and playstyles that are all fun and pretty easy to grasp. And if you're having any trouble with them, I hear there's this great video series that you could watch that might explain it for you. It's on a playlist, youtube.com/GamesBrained. That might help too. But but yeah, it's the best way to get into the Warriors series, I think, definitely. Dynasty Warriors doesn't apply as much to people in the West because it's based off of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms novel, ancient novel from China. which is a fascinating story I could add on about playing that with my fiance, who is Chinese origin. She's Taiwanese.
Okay.
And so the stories from that are like King Arthur legends to us. So when I was playing it with her, and like we would just pause the game and she'd tell me all the rest of this character's backstory. Really fascinating, but not as applicable to Western gamers. So yeah, Hyrule Warriors, definitely. Not a Zelda fan? Would that... So Cardboy had said he's not a Zelda fan. Would that impair his ability to enjoy it?
See, I feel like it's not. It doesn't really play like a Zelda game. It's just tons of Zelda references and like
exactly.
fan service.
Yeah, you might not get the references, but the gameplay itself is so fun, and the characters are so fun. It might make you more interested in some of the mechanics, but even then, on its own, it's a standalone experience.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I think you'd still enjoy it.
And I think because of not getting the fan service, I think in that case, there's no real... Like, in that case, it wouldn't matter if you started with the original Hyrule Warriors or Legends. Legends has more content, but it's also more fan servicey content. So that's also a matter of, do you care for that or not?
Yeah, that's true. I almost always recommend the Legends version now, just because that was one big mistake that I made in my review. Of course, I'll never stop hearing about it for the rest of my life ever. Even if I've notified it, put a notification, I've made a comment, I've made an annotation, I've plastered it, I've gotten a tattoo of it on my forehead. People will never stop telling me that the game doesn't run at 60 FPS, it runs at 30 FPS. Yes, that's true.
I don't think that really ruins it much. Well, if it's on a new 3DS, it's better.
The thing that I should have had is that for some reason the 3DS version actually has a more consistent frame rate.
Yes, it does.
Not a better frame rate, a more consistent frame rate.
It's weird that the 3DS one feels more polished. Like I encounter
really
less
bizarre.
glitches, but anyway. So moving down the interview questions. So let's step away from the Warriors games for a little bit. So you've also done videos covering the Zelda timeline, as you said earlier, and leading up to the Hyrule Warriors DLC, you did a stream of Link's Awakening, and you played through the whole game. So what would you say are your top 3 favorite Zelda games, and why?
My top 3 favorite Zelda games. I actually made a list on this back in the day. But the thing is, like, your feelings always tend to be in flux. And I think, in no particular order, the 3 that are the most special to me would be A Link to the Past. Probably because that and Super Mario World are basically the 2 games that made me a gamer for life.
Right, okay.
That one's very special. And because that game is so special to me, A Link Between Worlds... is so nostalgic and so wonderful for me to play through again. And then when it comes to 3D Zeldas, I mean, everyone says it, but Majora's Mask I think is literally as good as it gets. The 3D Zelda. I mean, you have great exploration. Well, Breath of the Wild is like a completely different game to me. It almost doesn't feel traditional Zelda experience. I played through Breath of the Wild maybe 1 month or 2 months ago, and I did a 100% playthrough. And even though I collected 900 of those damn Korok seeds,
oh my god, did you?
I did 900 Korok seeds. I kind of separated the map. Of course, you can't do that without a guide. So I separated the map like a pizza, and basically I would just choose one area, mark every single seed on my map using the in-game map tools, and then just go at it, 30 minutes at a time.
Wow.
Play it a little bit before work, a little bit after work, until I eventually had done everywhere in the map except for the center portion. So yeah, I would not uncover an area on the map until I had gotten every seed in it. Now, of course, that was my second playthrough. My first playthrough, I got maybe like 3 of the quote unquote dungeons finished, and then I realized I wasn't going to be able to get all these Korok seeds with me. I'd already gotten some here and some there. It was far too confusing, so I had to be very specific about it.
Okay. That makes
But
sense.
yeah, I almost put the Breath of the Wild in a different category. So my number 3 would be Majora's Mask. I love the game very much, even though I did a Let's Play of it with a buddy of mine who also lives in Japan, and we were a little bit down on it in some portions. I think that's because it's the Nintendo 64 version, which still does have some issues, specifically with some dungeon design and some boss design.
Yeah.
Especially that fish. I hate that fish. What is it? Georg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. A little easier or a little better to fight in Majora's Mask 3D, but
there's some special salt on that on my playthroughs when I'm in control taking on Georg. I think I had to give the controller away. I was too emotional.
I need to finish that series. I was watching you guys play that a little bit, but I didn't get the chance to finish that. I need to finish that now.
It's kind of a chill out series.
Before continuing, because Cartboy asked me what my favorite Zeldas are, but Wind Waker and Breath of the Wild in first and second of Wind Waker first, Breath of the Wild second. Majora's actually in my top 5, but it's not actually in my top 3. Skyward Sword's actually in my the number 3 for me because I loved the story to that game. It was the cinematic, the origins, just it to me as a Zelda fan invested in the series and the lore, it was very impactful. Which I also loved for Breath of the Wild as well. But anyway, I try to keep that short so we can get back to your interview thing. So, next up though, so on your channel you recently started a series called Character Study, accompanied by a short story explanation videos. So, what made you decide to start the series?
Well, the thing that I have found that I like the most in gaming is the characters. I hear in many games like Smash and Mario Kart and Hyrule Warriors of people maining characters, and I have never been one to do that.
Right.
I prefer looking at like a whole cast and getting to know like each and every one, which is actually, it's kind of a detriment in some games. Like, I've never been very good at Smash Brothers because I can't stand to stay on just one character for very long. Like, seriously, if we play 5 matches, I'm probably going to play at least 4 or 5 characters because I like the variety. I like seeing what each character can do, and I'm fascinated by character and character stories. This kind of gets into the name of my channel, but I would always have games on my mind, as I was just going through normal life, and basically since I first played Super Mario World and A Link to the Past as a kid. And Character Study is a series that I wanted to do for a long time. When I first started my channel, it was one of my initial ideas that I do, like character-focused, bio, story, personality, design, analyzation kind of video. And I can't remember. I even had a certain name with it, some kind of terrible name that I can't remember what I was going to call the series. But yeah, so this was my chance to finally kind of enact that dream and just be able to talk about a character that I love from a variety of aspects, analyze what I think about it. I started with Mei from Overwatch, which I really enjoyed that game, and that's another game that I suffer at because I can't stick on one character for long.
Right. Everyone
else is getting, high ranks with like their ninja play, but I just want to play every single character and change it up every time. So I'm trying to bring more Overwatch content onto my channel, but right now people still love me for my they love me. People still watch me for my Zelda and my Hyrule Warriors stuff. So the next one that I did was on Midna, so both her Imp and Twilight form. And then the third one that I did was on Butters from South Park, which has become some kind of sleeper hit. I think there's a deprived South Park community on YouTube that just wants to see people do intense analyzations of Butters and Cartman and such. So I plan to do more of those in the future. Obviously, right now I'm trying to finish up the All About series, so I don't want to let myself get distracted on that. There's definitely a balance when you're running a YouTube channel between like you gotta balance doing what you want to do, doing what your audience wants to do, and not letting yourself get spread too thin by trying to do everything at once. So even though I want to do more character studies, I'm going to finish this All About series. I feel like I kind of owe it to everyone, and I owe it to you for providing. It's like you took a you took 2 days just to provide me footage. That was quite an incredible thing you did. So yeah, I also owe it to you to finish out that series before I let myself get distracted with anything else. I don't know how it couldn't be any trouble, but I do appreciate it.
It came up at a time where I actually, aside from familiarize myself with games for this stream, like that I did earlier, like Rivals of Aether and Indiepogo, I didn't actually have too much to do for a couple days, so it was like perfect timing for me. I was like, hey, this is what I can do in that time, and I blew through a lot of it, but I didn't want to go through too much because you later on sent me like the things that you kind of needed for it. So I was like, hey, I'm glad I didn't do all of it at once, because then I would have felt bad that a lot of it was similar.
Yeah, if anyone watching wants to know what we're talking about, I actually did a video on it just to give a special thank you to Triss. It's on my channel. I'm not trying to plug my channel, but if you want to see the full story, you can see it there. But yeah, I was really touched by what he did.
Just happy to help. All right, so next question. So, what would be your ideal content to create on YouTube?
That's an interesting question. I basically already do my ideal content. When I launched my character study series, that was a kind of video that I wanted to do for so long, so I finally fulfilled that, and now I have a formula that I can make more with and add in more interesting characters. There is one more type of video that I would like to do, which is it comes from another one of my fascinations, being not just fascinated with characters in a game, but also with sequel progression. As I mentioned earlier, I tend to play every single game in a series. And in fact, when a new game comes out, I won't let myself touch it until I've played through all previous ones. So Mass Effect 3 comes out, I have to play through Mass Effect 1 or 2 before I can touch it. Even with, like, Bloodborne. I'm not going to play through Bloodborne unless I play through Dark Souls 1 and 2 and Demon Souls as well. So I will start at the beginning. And I really am fascinated by how games that are in a series are modified and built upon by the ones that came before. And of course, that's probably why the Zelda series appeals to me so much. Because in gaming, that's probably had the most interesting sequels, even though people will tend to say they're all the same. They're really not. They do an interesting way of modifying the formula with each one. And so I have a couple ideas for a series which I'm going to call Sequel Time, where I take two games in a series and compare, what happened with this one, how it evolved, what was better, what was worse, kind of like a dual review, but specifically for two sequels in a game. For example, if you take a game series like Metal Gear, and you take Metal Gear Solid 2, which is a pretty standard but with a crazy story, and then Metal Gear Solid 3, it's kind of like at the core the same, but so fundamentally different, but it's somehow all tied together within the same game universe and the same game style. That's just something that I would like to also talk about on my channel.
Yeah, that is actually a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, that's kind of the only idea I have right now that I haven't been able to get to. But sometimes I just go off and do random things. Like, actually, one of my favorite videos that I ever did, I had no plans to do it. I basically just had an afternoon where I played Splatoon for a little bit, and I unlocked the first bit of story content that you can get in the first Splatoon, which is, I think it's just like the little book pages.
Yeah.
And they tell the story of the cat, and I thought, oh, this is interesting. And so I went up and I looked up the rest of those book pages, and then I started to, like, in my head, piece together the story of the cat from Splatoon. And it's like a apocalyptic story with, like, a man and his cat, and he puts his cat into a hyperbolic chamber, and the world's destroyed and rebuilt by squids. It was so crazy that in that instant I immediately made I think it's like Splatoon lore explained in 4 minutes, and I made it in an afternoon. All I needed to do was gather the art and write the script and record it, and I was so, like, instantly inspired to do it that it's still one of the most fun things. So really, I have some series that I do, but I also allow some wiggle room in my channel for just any strange idea that comes to me.
Okay, really interesting.
I did a recent video about kind of just a parody of the controversy with Jim Sterling's review of Breath of the Wild, the 7 out of 10 apocalypse.
Yeah,
and that was another one of those that just came to me, and I had to do it.
Okay, It's actually really interesting, though. It's nice that you kind of get these fresh ideas and you're actually able to tackle them and do something with them.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I love having this channel.
Well, good, because we definitely like the content you do. All right.
Yay!
So, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but earlier this year you moved to Japan as an English teacher, right? So
That's right.
How has that experience been so far?
So this move to Japan was something that I've wanted to do since I first studied abroad in Japan. I think I was not that different from your age. I was early on in college.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually on my 22nd birthday. So on this day, because my birthday is August 21st.
Yeah.
On this day 8 years ago.
Wow.
Was the first time I traveled to Japan, and I stayed there for a year, and I loved the. It sounds silly, but I love the way that everything is organized in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
The cleanliness of the city, just the way that society functions without being a constant pain. And I know you wanted to be like somewhat better, but without society being a constantly pain in the ass, which I don't enjoy.
Yeah.
I could kind of just be left alone in my own world, or interact as I saw fit. And so I always wanted to come back and work in Japan and live in Japan after that. But I had to go back and I had to graduate. And so after I finished that, I tried to get the job that I wanted, but I didn't have any experience as a teacher, and I think I was still a little bit too much of a weeaboo at that time for anyone to take my application seriously. And so I did not get what I was looking for. But I did get a job opportunity in Taiwan. And so I thought, this is still, I just graduated. I could probably pick up something new by going to a place other than Japan, and then, have a little bit more experience in the Asia region instead. So then I went to Taiwan. I lived there for a year. And that was when I met my fiance, and then from there we went back to live in America, ironically, for 2 years, and then we went back to Taiwan for 2 years. But all of that, basically, since I first went to Taiwan, was in order to raise money for my move here. And I moved to Tokyo. I'm actually talking to you from Tokyo right now, and I work in Yokohama. And it's not cheap living in Tokyo. So basically, all the money that I raised in that 6 years allowed me to, when you get an apartment in Japan, you got to pay like 4 or 5 months of rent up front, right. And it's probably unfurnished, and you got to get all your services and stuff set up. So that basically put me back to zero again.
Oh, okay.
And so I've been working like a madman and trying to balance my money. Mm-hmm. And so that has been the biggest struggle. Since I've taught before. The new job I didn't think was going to be that difficult, but there is an adjustment period when you get into a new teaching job, where you got to get used to the workload and what it's like doing planning every week and balancing it with your class schedule. Mm-hmm. So I've been doing all of that for about the last 6 months, and it's at this point that I kind of feel I have a handle on it, and I know where I can use my time on my channel during the day so that I can start to make videos again. But being back in Japan, it's lovely. I mean, life in Japan is easy. I mean, you see something crazy every day. It's like being on a different adventure every day. I never know what's going to happen.
Oh boy. Well,
Taiwan was like
I'll be there in
that
like
too.
a week and a half.
Yeah. I'm excited that you're finally coming.
All right. So, moving on. So, what made you decide on the name GamesBrained? I think you touched upon this a little bit earlier, but
yeah, it came from how no matter where I was, I would always have like whatever game or whatever topic about gaming on my brain all the time. So GamesBrained is kind of just like it's like an adjective for myself. I'm a games-brained kind of person. I always have it on my mind. Mm-hmm. But it also comes from like the act of braining someone in the head with a hammer. Like games have been smacked in my head ever since I was a kid, and it's always there. So that's the name GamesBrained. I've gone by a couple names online, but I wanted something that could be a little bit unique, but also could be like put into a quick little a small name, an abbreviation. So people can call me GamesBrained. They can call me GB. I guess they can call me Games That would be. But yeah, so GamesBrained GB. I mean, I'm not afraid to use my real name. My real name is Shane, so people can call me that too. But yeah, that's where the name comes from. It's kind of like if you've ever been in a crappy job and you're there washing dishes or flipping burgers or whatever you have to do. I actually worked in fast food for 3 years in my own life, and all you're thinking about is going home and playing the game that you're currently on at that time. Like I'm here at work, but I'm not there. I'm just imagining that wonderful time when I can go back and play games once more. And so that's how I live my life. So that's how I chose to call myself online.
All right, that's pretty fair. So, aside from Fire Emblem Warriors, are there any other upcoming games that you want to focus on? Because you mentioned Fire Emblem Warriors earlier, so.
Right. Of course, Fire Emblem Warriors. But I would like to get a Switch so that I could do some new upcoming Switch games. But currently, I'm trying to expand my channel into a little bit more Overwatch content. And also, there's a game similar to Overwatch called Paladins, which I'm quite a fan of too. Both of them are, they're hero-based games. So like the Warrior series, you have specific characters with specific abilities that are a lot of fun to talk about and how to utilize them correctly. I know that as I first start to do content on them, they're not going to be very popular, but neither was my Zelda stuff until I continued to keep on doing more and more and more of it.
Yeah.
So even though it can be disheartening to spend 30 or 40 hours on a video and see it like not get any traction, especially compared to if I could just, talk about Zelda for 3 minutes unscripted, it's going to be much more popular. But I am trying to fit that in and not let myself get defeated by it, because I think those games are a lot of fun. A consistent viewer and fan of my channel named Blazing Gamer, I know he picked up Overwatch because of me, and it seems like he's having a lot of fun on it. He's actually quite a high level in it now.
Okay, interesting.
And so I think I was not really into competitive shooters myself until I played Splatoon, actually, and that's what made me give Overwatch a chance. And I would really like to play Splatoon again as well. But yeah, I mean, at their core, Splatoon and Overwatch are not that different. It's not like Rainbow Six or Counter-Strike or anything that super serious. You have really, really delightfully designed characters with crazy powers. It's just a lot of fun to play. So I would like to do more stuff on that. And they're also prime subjects for all abouts and character studies and the other kind of content that I like to do.
Okay, that's fair. If you are interested in getting a Switch, you should definitely get Splatoon 2 as well then, because that's held a lot more people like myself who weren't the biggest fans of Splatoon 1, but for some reason really like this one.
Oh, really? I enjoyed Splatoon 1 quite a bit, and until I can justify the money for getting a Switch, I might have to do like a fundraising stream or something to see if my fans can help me get to it, because that would also allow me to do content on Fire Emblem Warriors. But before I do that, I have to handle this situation with my Elgato, which hates me.
Yeah. All right, so let's bring this back to the Warrior series now then. So we talked a bit here and there about Fire Emblem Warriors, but what exactly are your thoughts on it, from what we know?
Well, I'll admit I have not been following almost anything on it, because I don't know almost anything about Fire Emblems, period. I remember seeing Roy and Marth originally in Super Smash Bros. Melee, and that was my first introduction to Fire Emblem. And since then, even though I'm in a country where I have access to it, I just have not taken the chance to go and play through it, partly because I'm so obsessed with playing things from the beginning. Like, all right, I want to play through Fire Emblem. I want to get it, so what do I have to do? Okay, I need to get the original NES Fire Emblem, and then, like, the series is super complicated to follow on.
Yeah.
From the beginning. So I think I have to overcome, like, my kind of mental block of playing things out of order and just do it. Just Shia LaBeouf style, just do it.
Well,
and but I don't know exactly where to start on that, and I'm thinking that I should just start on it with Fire Emblem Warriors.
Yeah, I think that would be fair, and use that to kind of... And the games mostly represented in that, I believe, are Awakening, Fates, and Shadow Dragon. Now, Shadow Dragon's like is Marth's game, but Awakening and Fates were the two... not counting Echoes, they were the two most recent new Fire Emblem games, and Awakening is the one that got like all the content in Smash recently, and it's considered the one that saved the series.
By it all. Yeah, the way that it comes out makes it sound like Pokemon, where it comes out with two different versions.
Well,
like these two games launched simultaneously, and there's a third special edition.
That was just Fates, and I don't actually know all that many people that played more than one version of Fates, even though they're vastly different.
Yeah.
But yeah,
yeah, I do have a Fire Emblem game for my 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was what's the one with it's not the one with the dragon lady. It's the one with the guy from Smash 4, who was be a male or female.
Is it Awakening with Chrom and Robin or actually I think his name in Japanese would be
I have that one.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
My fiance's already actually played through it entirely. I haven't touched it yet. But I think I'll go back and figure it out after Fire Emblem Warriors.
Yeah.
Because I can still talk about the game and the mechanics of the character without knowing the lore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to the diversity of the characters in it because I've been keeping up with it, and I watched a lot of people who got to play it at San Diego Comic-Con. They're all like the little preview videos that came out. And, you know, in Hyrule Warriors, you have the characters that seem very practical, and then you have, like, the Agatha-like characters that are just really silly.
Yeah, I love Agatha, by the way. She's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, Agatha's a lot of fun. There's a character in Fire Emblem Warriors I was watching, and it's in Fire Emblem Awakening, it's the younger sister of Chrom. Apparently, with the class system, you can turn her into a war cleric, where she has a battle axe instead of like a healing staff. And in this, I don't know if this was a glitch or if this is actually something that happens, but as she's swinging this battle axe around, she's getting characters stuck to it, and they're just swinging around with her. And one of her combos, she does like 3 front flips with it, where she's like wheeling herself around. And I was cracking up at that so bad, and that told me right there that I need to learn to play her.
Wow. So she was swinging the axe, and people are getting stuck onto it.
Yeah, it's weird,
God, like a Katamari axe.
Yeah, like it looks like
That's amazing.
It almost looks like a glitch because she's swinging it around and they're following it exactly. But it also looks hilarious, is the thing. So
it's amazing how these games just kind of set off the imagination. Because as you said that, I just had like a beautiful image in my head of like swinging the axe at an army or something, and they all get stuck on the blade, and then you kind of like fling them off again.
Yeah, that's basically what was happening.
It's real. Oh my god. Yeah, that's why this series is so much fun.
So, final question here, because this can get a little lengthy, I feel like. So, and I believe Cardboy actually tried asking this in the chat earlier. Are there any specific Nintendo IPs you would like to see get a Warriors spin-off, aside from the one we're about to get?
Yes. Yeah, you can imagine it in so many different versions. The one that always sticks out to me would be something like Pokemon Warriors. Mm-hmm. So let's say, what could the story be?
Well, I believe the creators...
All of the different evil teams team up, Team Rocket, Team Flare, Team Ghost, or whatever the previous ones, Aqua and Magma and all them. They team up and they all have their dark Pokemon out, and you're playing as a trainer, and you can select you can bring 6 Pokemon to the battlefield, and so you can switch between them all. There's so much room for that, I think, but it's almost too massive to imagine. But I would really, really like to see something like that.
Andrew's telling me to say Star Fox Warriors.
Star Fox Warriors would work out really well. Yeah, they I'm actually, I just got afraid that they'd be incorporating some kind of horrible controller gimmick. But,
oh boy!
But yeah, that could work out really well. I mean, it'd basically be like Gundam Warriors, where you could just like jump into your R-wing or something and fly off to different parts of the battlefield, or do the space battles in between fighting on the ground. Yeah, that would work out excellently. I mean, they've already done characters who basically use projectiles in a melee way. Like, just look at Linkle from with her crossbows. Mm-hmm. That's a way. It's like gun kata in a way. But let's see. What else might work well? Donkey Kong Warriors.
I think there's enough Donkey Kong characters to make that diverse and interesting. Actually.
Oh yeah, like using Lanky Kong swinging his arms around, and Dixie's using her helicopter aerial combos, and Diddy Kong is like doing dodge rolls with his rocket boosts. Yeah, just do Smash Brother Warriors.
I think that would be most successful. But then the question is, when it comes to Zelda representation and Fire Emblem representation, would they pick just the characters that have appeared in Smash, or would they pick the ones that played best, or just like fan pull the characters that they want to see from Hyrule and Fire Emblem Warriors? Because, and that's the other thing, would they play exactly the same as they do in that one, or would they modify it based on whatever gameplay this one would be? But yeah,
I mean, I think they could. I mean, you have so many moves already built into Smash that you could make it work. Mm-hmm. And kind of in the way that you take like Mega Man from Smash 4. Yeah. And so basically everything that he does has already been done, but they're pulling from lots of different sources, and they've modified it to make it work for that game.
Right.
So yeah, that would be fascinating. But it seems like because after Hyrule Warriors, people weren't really sure what's next. Yeah. Is it Hyrule Warriors 2? And it turned out to be Fire Emblem Warriors. And so that kind of makes it sound like, rather than getting Hyrule Warriors 2 and Fire Emblem Warriors 2, which actually I wouldn't put them past it that we're going to do it, but they might be collaborating with Nintendo to bring other series to that formula. So it's much less of a pipe dream now. It's kind of more of a... I mean, people were talking about Fire Emblem Warriors, at least in my comments, for way, way longer than the game was actually announced.
Yeah.
And I think of all the series, Fire Emblem is probably the best fit. Mm-hmm. You automatically have, warriors on a battlefield, fighting armies. It's so perfect. I can't think. Are there any other Nintendo series besides Star Fox, which I think is probably the second best fit, that already fits that formula? I can't think of any. I would really like to see Mario Warriors.
I would too. So many people try to tell me it would feel out of character, but I feel like it would be really fun because people no way. Why would they have weapons? But if you look at Hyrule Warriors, a parasol is not a conventional weapon. It wouldn't be Mario with a sword.
I mean,
it'd be Mario with
his
hammer
parasol.
Or something.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Peach would
you
parry
can
the
imagine
parasol.
it you have Parasol and Princess Peach, like Agatha and Peach. They probably play pretty similarly. Mario could just have a punch and fireball playstyle. Mm-hmm. That doesn't seem that outrageous. Let's see. You have Linkle's boots, although I don't really like her boots in the game that much. But they give an idea of an all melee kind of playstyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think... And of course, who wouldn't want to play as Bowser taking on hordes of toads, just smacking them apart?
Oh, gosh.
You gotta have generals and stuff, so put them in a big Toadmobile or something. So you gotta fight a big Toad robot. Gosh.
Oh, gosh. That would be hilarious. I would love that.
It would be wonderful. That's all I want to play. And never mind. I take it back. I don't want to see Pokemon Warriors anymore. I want to see Mario Warriors before everything. Super Mario Warriors, Legends, whatever. Just make it happen.
And as Carpe was saying, Mario's Extended Cast is always playable in a lot of spin-offs. So I actually feel like it would be a really good time where you take advantage of Mario's more than just heroes. So you have the Mario, you have the Bowser, and then you have heroes and villains on both sides. Playable.
Yeah, the way that Bowser Jr. plays in Smash 4. Bowser Jr., by the way, is actually my favorite character to play in Smash.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah. I like his play style, and my other favorite was Snake, who was taken out. And I don't really like Duck Hunt play style that much, although I tried to main him for a bit in Smash, but my tendency to just play everyone kind of won out in the end. But just Bowser Jr.'s playstyle in Smash would be a pretty natural fit into Warriors, zooming around and spinning, attacking, and all the different things out of it. I hate to think that they would, again, just throw in all of Bowser's extended family in there again, but it would work if they could make them all interesting, at least.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's one play style that just has alternate skins for, so you could be each one of them.
That's possible,
that would be good at least, but
yeah, I definitely feel like a Mario Warriors would be something where you can pull a lot more interesting characters, but you wouldn't be able to use just any Mario character because so many Mario characters can do the same thing. They would I think they would have to change it up a bit, like with like why they pick certain characters. So like, for example, you can't just have a normal like Toad and Toadette. You'd want like Captain Toad, maybe with like a Captain Toadette. Like, helping out kind of thing. Like you wouldn't want.
Yeah,
the normal Toads, I think, would just be like the armies kind of thing, like the little.
I mean, if you take the big four, which are probably Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Princess Peach, they're all differentiated enough at this point to have different play styles.
Yeah.
It might be hard to like decide how do you fit in Daisy, how do you fit in, Toadette, but that's kind of like the only exceptions I can think of. If you had, like, Waluigi and Wario are naturally going to play extremely differently. Bowser and Bowser Jr. Captain Toad, I think, is so different from the rest of Toads.
Yep.
Definitely no aerial combos for him. He can't jump.
He just throws his backpack in the air.
yeah. Well, he could swing his backpack around, Rabio style.
Oh, boy. All right, so in this time... anybody else in the chat have any questions for GamesBrained?
Yes. Does anyone have any questions for me? And also, please support Source Gaming's charity stream and donate.
Yes. In the info section below the stream, there is a link down to where you can donate to Child's Play for charity. And I say that now because that's actually right near the end. I'll say it one last time before we end, but if there aren't any other questions, why don't you tell people where they can find you, and I can link them.
Okay, well, the main place to find me is going to be from my YouTube channel, which is the same name, GamesBrained. I also use my Twitter quite often. That's the best way to contact me about any of my YouTube stuff, and it's also where I sound off about stuff that's frustrating me temporarily or anything. I don't think I'm the best Twitter account.
That's okay.
But I do talk about, and I do give exclusive stuff to my Twitter followers quite often. Like if I have finished a video, I'll just upload it only for my Twitter followers to watch before I actually post it publicly. Just, I think you can find a GamesBrained Facebook page, but I don't use it anymore, and I've tried to delete it several times. So if you find it, just don't
ignore
even bother. Yeah.
Okay.
I tend to as well. So yeah, my YouTube and my Twitch. My Twitter are the best places to do me. I guess I also have a Twitch too, but I haven't been able to do much streaming until my capture card is fixed again.
Okay.
But yeah.
So they can mostly find you on your YouTube and Twitter then. Alrighty. Well, aside from an existential question about Diddy Kong growing 2 extra fingers, it doesn't seem like there are any other questions in the chat. So I will say thank you so much for coming on here right by the end.
Oh, you're very welcome. I had a lot of fun talking about it with you.
Yeah, and I highly recommend people watch your stuff because they're a lot of fun. And I don't say that just because I helped out with the capture. Like, I actually love watching your All About videos. They helped me with so many of the characters that I was iffy on. And then I just got better with them because of your videos. We just
discovered a new feature of... it's not a new feature, but... I kind of just taught you a new feature of Link Spinner the other day.
Yeah,
because I was looking at hey, where's the other like individual combos on that stuff. That was pretty new to me too. I discovered that during my research for the character when I was writing the script.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
You'll get to see that tomorrow. Actually, that's my video that's going up tomorrow. Link Spinner.
Oh boy, I bet people will be excited for that. I've seen the comments asking pretty much just for that.
Yeah,
or Volga, but
I'm
you got
kind of
Volga.
Smiling giddily whenever I see requesting the video that I already know is going up next.
Yep.
Just wait, winky face.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much for coming on, and
thank you very much, everybody.
Start setting up a closing thing then.
Okay.
All right, so I will talk to you later.
Okay, see you, everyone. Bye, Driss.
Bye.